Hi everyone, Sahand here, founder and CEO of Terra Kaffe.
I'm Andrew Miller, VP of Product.
And today we are going to be talking with you all about how we decided on the industrial design language for the new TK Demi Espresso machine. So, to start, this process was very fun, very exciting, something that we're very familiar with. Andrew and I both worked very closely on the TKO2 development process, and very similarly, when we initially started the project, we had an initial first draft of, I think, almost over 35 different design directions. So we were looking at all sorts of different routes, some that are more congruent with how our existing product portfolio looks today, some that were very, very different as a branching off point. But ultimately, we started with that lay of the land, very tabula rasa, if you will. We knew we wanted to hold on to that very kind of Bauhausian clean lines, very intentional design in terms of how the overall form factor came together, and also had a few objectives within our product requirements that we wanted to achieve, such as a smaller footprint so that it could be more adaptable to different households and kitchen countertop situations, whatever real estate you may have in your kitchen. And also wanted to make sure it had softer edges, going for a little bit more of that playful look. Also, hence why you see there are more colors with the Demi. That more, soft, approachable design language while still staying consistent with what the core brand identity was, so that it naturally, organically fits in more home environments, but still with a very clear identity.
We also took a look at our existing product, TKO2, and we pulled a little bit of design language from that product line into our development process. As you can see on the Demi, we have a dial on the right side, which links back to our TKO2 milk frothing dial. On the Demi, however, we do not have milk, so that ends up becoming our selector dial for the dot matrix display.
Yeah, and as Andrew knows, I was a big fan of the dot matrix display. There's a lot of brands out there that we admire rolling out new products in appliances, connected fitness, consumer electronics that are incorporating this in a really premium way. We saw that as a great opportunity to still communicate clearly to the user, allowing for all the customization, but a different approach, and then utilizing that metallic dial for the selector as opposed to the milk frothing.
In addition to that dial, we also wanted to maintain the snap fit on our hopper lid with magnets. We really liked the magnetic doors on the TKO2, the snap fit feel of those touch points on the product, and it helps keep the gaps nice and clean and straight for different areas of the product. So we brought the magnets into the Demi design to allow for those unique touch points and more premium appeal in the industrial design.
Yeah, I will say I can recall countless days, afternoons, evenings, nights where Andrew's just measuring out every single gap of the machine, making sure everything snaps into place correctly. I know, of course, I'm a tolerance stack up doing all of that work with our manufacturers and supply chain partners, but also just observing you measure every single millimeter on this thing, making decisions. I mean, it is a long process, and it can be quite arduous, I suppose.
Yeah, and those touch points are something that you may not consider, but you will notice when you're going through those development phases. Those early tooling builds will fit together, but they don't have as much of an engagement feel and confirmation for the user when the drip tray, for example, slides into the machine, or the brew unit clicks into place. And all those touch points are important for the best user experience.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting way of putting it, because it's almost the accent of recognizing it is all of the hard work that goes into fine-tuning the design. Is you're making all of those efforts to make sure that everything clicks, snaps, gets placed, or gets put into place correctly, such that the user then doesn't almost have to even think about it happening.
Exactly, and if it's not there, you don't really know what's missing.
Right.
but
Right.
you know something's missing. Or
Right.
so the feeling of the design is empty
Yeah.
in a way. And so
Yeah.
then when you add those touch points in,
Yeah.
it really adds
That
that
surprising
sparkle.
Yeah, sparkle. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if we covered it yet, but just talking about how the asymmetry of the design kind of harmonizes very organically with the internals of the machine.
Of course, yeah. With this smaller footprint, we had to be very conscious of space and where we wanted to place, for example, the nozzle, the waste bin, and does that fall in the center or does that fall to the left side, to the right side? The internal components of the machine drive a lot of those locations.
Yeah.
Our brew unit's removed from the right side. That brew unit's going to dispense into the waste bin, so that's on the right side. Therefore, the spout makes
Yeah.
sense to be on the left side to balance the design
Right.
on the internal, from the internal look at the machine. And all that plays to the outside
Yeah.
and limits the amount of flexibility for the exterior design, which creates challenges and also creates opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. It has this reciprocal mirroring nature where it is meant to feel very organic to the user. It's natural if there are elements you have to engage with internally or to be mindful of, then the external industrial design should harmonize very organically with how those functions are happening internally, which then also in turn allows us to create the most compact form factor or design language for the product, because everything kind of fits perfectly like it's Lego pieces into its spot when you consider the kind of internals harmonizing cleanly with the externals.
I do have one more point on the water
Please.
tank. This was the water tank having exposed sides for the user to see the water level was an important decision that we needed to make, just around the complexity of the internal skeleton and being able to open that area. It allowed us to create a smaller footprint for the body of the machine.
Yeah, right.
And also a better user experience for seeing the water level.
All right. Well, there you have it. A little bit of detail and explanation around the industrial design language and decisions for the new TK Demi Espresso machine. Thanks for listening.
Bye for now.